Today's episode of My Worst Date is brought to you by Audible.
Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/myworstdate.
Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Cheers!
There's somebody I know that has a calendar of guys in kilts, and it's like lady pornish.
Yeah.
Oh God, fuck. Who is it? It's like
I don't
someone
know.
she's like married, and the guy's like, yeah, that's
That's
she-
just her
her
kink.
thing.
That's her
thing.
kink.
she likes.
Wow.
Like,
So when
Wow.
he dresses up,
I know.
he's like, hey, honey.
We're going to play Highlander right now. Let's go.
Who wants to live forever? Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's not my thing. Not my kink. But if it was part of your culture, I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Again, though, it should at least hit your knee. A kilt shorter than that, that's a skirt.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not a kilt
honey.
anymore. Honey, that's a skirt. That's a skirt with a slit.
I mean, that's
not
yeah.
right.
I mean, it does. It reminds me of high school. It's the kind of thing that
It's a wrap skirt.
Yeah, we had
Wrap
to wear.
skirt.
We had to wear those, plaid
Pleated.
skirts.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say, like, being part of these like wedding groups is eye-opening for me because I'm just like, people are so weird about weddings
Yeah.
and so like catty.
People got opinions about other people's
People
weddings.
have opinions, and the way that people treat like it really highlighted to me like the way that people treat bridesmaids as like wedding accessories
Oh, I know.
is
Oh.
fucking so bizarre.
It
to
is
me.
kind of true, though.
They do
If
because
you
they're
think
like
about
change
it.
everything about you. Like
Yeah, and the
dye
way that
your
they
hair,
like
cover your
fucking
tattoos,
freak
like-
out if the bridesmaid like lives a life.
oh yeah,
Other than,
God
like,
forbid
got-
she announce anything in
or
her
that
life
she gets
before the
pregnant,
wedding.
Oh,
Like,
or-
shit.
Jesus
You out.
Christ, like, yeah, everyone needs to conform to your like wedding
Some
day.
of the shit that people post, like, can you believe she got pregnant?
And I'm like, I'm sorry she didn't plan her ovulation
know,
schedule around
right?
your fucking wedding.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird thing to be upset about.
Wasn't there a post this week about somebody like finally being able to get into surgery, and the freaking bride was so upset that it was 4 days before her wedding.
She
It's like,
scheduled her surgery 3 days before my wedding. She's not going to be able to stand at all for the ceremony. And I'm like, it's a surgery.
isn't this your fucking friend?
right.
Yeah,
Nobody
you're
gives
not
a
worried
shit.
about
Nobody
like
gives a shit about that.
No,
They're like,
it's-
nah, fuck that shit.
it's weird.
What was the one that a woman posted something and it just happened that her name was the same name as the girl in the post? It's a very
Oh,
common name. like-
Sarah. It was like
Yeah.
Sarah. Yes, I saw that one.
and I was like, who else? Like, raise your hand if you went to the original post person to see if there was pictures of her in Bahamas, because it was like the bride was pissed because it was like she couldn't do anything wedding related, but then the girl like ended up taking a trip to like Bahamas suddenly.
That
Yeah,
one
and a
I
last
kind
minute
of-
trip to Italy.
that one I
and-
did kind of understand
like,
why the bride was upset.
Yeah, I think
No.
everybody on there was like, no, the bride should be pissed. This
Right,
is
because they're
kinda
like, can
fucked
you
up."
believe the bride is upset? And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like the
Literally
bride.
everybody was like, yeah.
What-
And then everybody was like, wait, is this the same Sarah?
Yeah, because like
They're like, I'm snooping.
the bride had asked the bridesmaid to be in her wedding, and
Yeah.
the bridesmaid said yes, but like I'm really tight on cash. And the bride was like, okay, I understand. She bought her bridesmaid's dress.
Yep.
She like went out of her way to like pay for things for her, and then the bridesmaid was still like, I really can't afford to like come to your bachelorette party or your bridal shower or do any of this stuff.
And then suddenly,
And then she like went on a trip to the Bahamas and to France.
Yeah.
And it was like, what?
and it was like a last minute trip to France or some shit.
yeah,
You're like,
too. You're like,
And
wait,
the
what?
poster on this bridal shaming group was like, can you believe the bride is upset at her bridesmaid? And I'm like, yeah, kind of.
yeah,
a little
100.
bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because she should have just backed out of being a bridesmaid at that point.
Exactly.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just be
Because
like,
she didn't do anything. She didn't do any of the bridesmaid stuff, and
Right.
it's like,
and I know how expensive it is, so I
Yeah.
get it. I understand it like completely. But if you've gone out of your way to be like, it's fine, I'll pay for all of your bridesmaid stuff, I just want you to stand with me on my day. And then like you,
That's like someone that's like a friend, and it really matters that you're there with them, so much so that they're willing to like fork out cash and like help you out. And you just like shit all over them
when they're planning a wedding, which is really expensive.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, welcome
guys,
everyone. This is My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh,
I didn't realize
you're
you're
fine.
something.
I was just going to tell people they should get in on that wedding shaming group.
Whew.
Yeah.
Join us.
Or
don't.
Or
don't.
don't.
You know, I don't know. Actually,
don't.
You don't need the negativity. You really don't. Like, it's not worth it for the 1 in a million buck cherry aisle dance. It's really not.
Oh my God. I watched it again on YouTube with the YouTube comments, and that was life.
So, Why I'm Single is another podcast, and they reached out to us with a video from Tosh.0 where they do a web redemption. I haven't watched the whole thing through yet because I got it when I was like at work and I like couldn't watch it all the way through. But I'm like,
What
I
is
am
it?
interested to see this, the web redemption.
Yeah.
You know when he used to do that? Like
Yeah,
Tosh.0?
yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that?
What?
Tosh.0?
Oh, I know what Tosh.0 is, but what's web redemption? Web redemption.
So
Jesus.
so he gets video clips from like people who do really shameful shit,
Yeah.
like walk down the aisle to crazy bitch.
Did he get
Yes,
them?
that's what I'm saying.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Oh, I'm down.
So I have it. Oh, we'll watch it during our break.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
I'm so
I
interested in
cannot
that.
wait.
That's amazing. In fact, we should probably post that to our Instagram so people know what we're talking about. I'll get it from YouTube and we can post it on our Instagram because that's amazing.
It really is. It's something else. Dude, the grandma's face.
Jesus,
I
that
just-
guy with the kid.
He's my
earmuffs.
very
Oh,
he
shit.
is my like spirit animal because my face reveals I will try and keep it together. I'll keep my mouth shut, but my face
is
reveals
open.
everything about what I'm feeling on the inside. And this man was just straight up just like horrified.
That fucking little kid knew he wasn't supposed to be hearing that too.
He's
The way
like,
that he
"Oh,
looked
damn."
at his dad was like, I'm not supposed to hear this,
But
right?
I am.
But I
But
am.
I am.
Hearing this. And then he grabs
His
him by
dad
the
is
ears
like-
like boop.
I'm so sorry, son. I'm so sorry.
It's like, no. Oh, Lord.
Okay, yeah,
Oh
we're
my
going to
God.
post that to our Instagram because we've now talked
too
about it
much.
on 2 episodes,
I
and
know,
you guys
it's
need to watch
much.
it. It
Yeah,
is
let's not do it on Instagram. Let's put it up on our Facebook.
Okay,
That
yeah,
way everybody,
then,
because
yeah.
it's a long video.
join
so that
our
we can see
Facebook
it.
group.
Yeah.
Watch it on
Yes.
Facebook. We're going to post it on there because it is fantastic.
Fucking wild.
Fantastic.
It's wild.
What else we got going on this week?
Okay, I need to talk about a creep on my Facebook.
Wait, because some guy tried to friend request me, and I was like, he's friends with Keegan, and I was like,
What's his name?
yeah,
Leave this.
Yeah.
Was it?
I don't remember, but I went and looked, and I was like, this guy's too good looking, and he only had like pictures from like March 4th, and I'm like, no, you're a fake person, so I deleted it, and I meant to snap it. Maybe I did snap it. Hold on. Yeah, it's him. Yeah,
Okay. So he is a real person. I can tell you that he is a real person because I met
Well,
him.
there is like
No, I met him in life. Like, he's a person. He came to my show because he knows someone in the show.
Okay.
So he came to the show.
that's a fake
and
account though.
It was fine. He it was like anytime after a show you meet people, they shake your hand. They're like, oh, you were wonderful, whatever. You do the schmoozing thing after a show. That's what you do.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, okay. I like shook his hand. I was like, thank you for coming, And he was very like over, was just like, you were so amazing. You were so great. But you get people like that every now and again. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's fine. It's
And
probably
it was
pretty
a great
normal.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knew someone in the show, so I'm like, it's cool. And he is an actor as well. And so when
He's
he
very
sent
good-looking, by the way.
he's very good looking. He's older. But he sent me a friend request, and I was just like, that's not unusual either. Like, actors friend actors all the time, especially if you have some kind of connection.
Right.
Because sometimes people will want to call you in for projects or whatever.
But
So I'm like,
that account is an almost brand new account.
well, I didn't even look at it because I saw who it was and I saw who our mutual friend was. And so I was just like, okay, this is someone I've met. It's another actor. It's fine. So I added him. And then almost immediately, like literally like in the next half hour, he sent me a message on Facebook that said, hi, beautiful.
Oh, no.
So I was in the middle of doing something. I did not respond because I was just like, I'm not going to respond to that. But I didn't unfriend him because I was doing other stuff and I just didn't think about doing that. Last night at midnight, he sends another message that says, "Sorry, hope I'm not bothering you."
Oh,
If someone doesn't write you back for a solid week, you're bothering them.
Yeah.
You're bothering them. And then he sent, that's from one of our other friends. You can bleep this out too, but one of our other friends, Amy, sent me that screenshot this morning and said, "Who is this?" Because he tried to add her.
He friended me too.
Yeah. And so he's going through my friends list and pulling out like girls from my friends list and sending them like in like friend requests.
Ew.
Right. Yeah. So I'm
or he's looking
unfriending
at your pictures, checking the tags.
Yeah. And so
directly.
I'm unfriending him and I'm letting the person in my cast know that like
I'm checking my Facebook right now. I never check my friend requests.
Oh my God.
I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, so I was just like, that is so I just want to do
That's
a PSA
funny.
that like, guys, if someone hasn't
That
written you
is
back in a
creepy.
week after saying something like that to them, yes, you're bothering them. You don't need to ask. You are.
That's weird.
You are. Like,
I don't like it.
It's very weird. So yeah, and Anthony was like, "It's so funny. Don't unfriend him. It's funny. Like,
No.
let's see what he says next." And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna
Not
unfriend
funny.
him."
I actually meant to tell you something because I saw that you guys were mutual friends, and I was like, this is weird. And I'm like, it feels very catfishy because he's a good looking guy. I'm always like, who is this guy?
He's
And I don't
good
know
looking
you.
in person.
So I
Like,
friended
that's what
him
he
just
looks
to
like.
see what else he had, like what else he had on his page.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did, and it came through, and I was like, he's got like 5 or 6 pictures, and that's it. He doesn't have very many friends. Our only mutual connection's you. And then I was like, I don't like this, and so I immediately unfriended him.
I mean, he is a good looking guy. Like that's
Yeah.
what he looks like in person.
Oh, he's very good looking.
And he was nice.
It's just
He was a
weird.
little like overly nice, but that happens sometimes, especially like in this town. There are some people who are just on all the time, and that's
Yeah.
kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
like what I thought. I just like, oh, he's just like, on and overly excited about everything,
Sure.
But
Is that his real name?
yeah, I mean, he was introduced to me as the first name, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I need more. I have more questions for your mutual friend situation because I have a lot of questions about this. The fact that his page looks.
yeah, it's weird because clearly when Amy sent me that this morning, I was half asleep. I literally woke up,
Mine
saw
was
it.
this morning too. That's fucking
I woke
weird.
up, I saw it. I responded to her. I said, "Don't add him. He's a creep." And then I like rolled back over and like went back to sleep. But I was just like, it's very weird to me that. So first of all, he came and saw me in a show. Obviously, he sought me out not because he had any kind of interest in like networking.
Yeah.
It was a personal thing to like seek me out. And then he clearly went through my friend list.
It's weird.
And started adding girls from my friend list, which is so creepy.
I am dying. You know what you need to do? Send that to the nap and see who else.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because I
Send
wonder
that
if
to
he
the
got
nap
like.
because then say do not friend this person and just
I should probably send it to our big group because there might be.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'll send it to our big group and be like, hey, if this person tries to add you, don't do it. I know it says we're a mutual friend, but don't do it.
Yeah. Ugh. Gross.
Creepy. I
That
don't
is.
like it.
I don't like
Me
that
neither.
at all.
Well, there is a new baby.
Archie.
I love the name Archie.
I love the name Archie too, but can we talk? I know you listen to the Daily
Yes,
Zeitgeist.
Archibald.
And I was like, but also they came out before they announced the name and they were like, this is going to be a name that unites the United
I don't get
States
it.
and the United Kingdom. And then
I'm like, how?
they came out with the most British name of all time. It was
For
like
real.
Archibald, Harrison, Mountbatten.
I heard it's just Archie.
Yeah,
It's not
just Archie.
short.
It's not short.
It's not short for Archer or Archibald.
It says
They-
Archibald on the like birth announcement.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it
Oh,
was just
But
Archie, too.
I
they
thought it was
came
just
out and said
Archie.
they're going to call him Archie.
Oh.
I don't think the
it's
Queen would let that
cute.
happen. The Queen's not like just Archie, period. I think Archie's very cute.
Very cute.
Very cute.
Also, cuter if it was Archer.
So cute,
Aw.
right? How
No,
cute would that have
Archie
been?
for a kid, Archer for a man.
Oh.
Like, because you name him Archer, you call him Archie when he's little, and, then he gets
Prince
older.
Archer.
Oh,
Hey, I
yeah.
shit.
I'm sorry.
that.
We need to call Megan right now.
Excuse
You
me,
can
Meg.
still change it.
Megan, you can still change it. There's
Yeah,
still
Meg.
time. Change it right now.
Good friend Meg. So,
So, oh my god,
I
that's
do have
hot.
a friend who has an Archer. A little
like
boy named
that.
Archer.
That's a
Isn't that
hot-
the fucking cutest
hot
name ever.
name.
Oh my god, and he is the cutest little boy ever.
I like that a lot.
So cute.
Archer. And then
And Archie, that's so
daughter,
cute.
I can't remember her daughter's name, but it's really cute too. It's not. I want to say sparrow or something, but it's not.
I like unique names
Rook.
that aren't rook.
Rook. It's another type of bird. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Archer and rook. Is that great?
Love that.
I love unique names that aren't
best.
like debilitating.
Yeah.
You know, like we talked about Absidy.
Apple.
Don't do Absidy. That woman who was just like, they made fun of my kid's name, and it was like
Yeah.
ABCDE, and she's like, it's pronounced Absidy, and I'm like, don't fucking do that to your
Get the fuck
kid.
out of here.
That's child abuse. Stop that. But like Archer, that's cute. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and how cute was that photo or their like photo announcement or whatever? And he's just like, he was holding the baby.
Yeah, I like it. I like that.
I like it.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So
Everything,
cute.
and I want to not give a shit about the royals because there is part of me that's like, this is dumb that we care so much about the royal family, but like their relationship, I'm just like, it's the first biracial or multiracial baby in the royal family.
I love it.
I love it, and like, I don't know, first American. I'm like, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
For all of our UK listeners, as a colonist,
Please
one of the colonies.
No, shit's not going well over there either.
Yeah, it's not going well anywhere.
Anywhere.
But yeah, I appreciate the pageantry. I get why it's a thing. It's a nice little distraction.
They were complaining, I think on the Daily Zeitgeist maybe, that someone in the street was like showering people with champagne when he found out that she had given birth, and I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
mean,
think
I don't
I'd
want
be
to get
all right
wet.
with it.
Yeah. I don't want to get wet. I want to be far enough away to watch it.
It would be a little. It would be a little.
But if you get me
sticky.
wet, I'm gonna have a problem with
It would
that.
be a little sticky.
There's nothing.
But-
there's few things I hate more than balloons and being wet and spit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, spit.
Tops.
Dude, okay. So I just started watching. Well, first of all, I've established officially, I told Anthony last night, I'm like, you have forfeited any rights to complain that I watched movies or TV shows without you, because you literally fall asleep in anything we try and watch. I tried to make him watch Killing Eve, fell asleep. Had to go back on another show I was watching because I got ahead of him, and then he fell asleep. And then last night, I was like, the Deadwood movie is coming out. I fucking loved that show on HBO, and I'm like, you should watch it so that we can watch the Deadwood movie together. So last night we started watching Deadwood together.
Which you've already seen.
Asleep.
Yeah.
He fell asleep again. And
well, I mean, he does play soccer for like 127 hours a week.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't care.
No,
I simply do not care.
simply
don't care. But there was a scene, you know, it's gross. That show looks like it smells. Like the show looks like it smells. Everyone looks disgusting. It's like Wild West.
Yeah.
Everyone looks like they're caked in dirt.
Yeah, it's
and
filth.
there was a scene. You know, you're watching people get like fucking beat the fuck up, like murdered, and the scene that made me like, huh, was when they made an agreement and they both spit into their palms and shook hands. I was like, huh.
That smelled awful.
That seems disgusting. I don't want to mingle our spit.
Did they invent toothbrushes by that point? I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what I feel like. People don't take this into account when they think about going back in time.
Hives just talking.
I'm
about
like,
this.
y'all, all of it was disgusting.
Like, all of it was dirty.
That's why it's such an important pact. The fact that they spit.
Yeah, they're like, we may have just contracted some kind of disease.
Yep.
So
I
you
got
know
the
that
consumption.
You know this deal.
The consumption.
No, I mean, just keep that in mind, people, when you're like, I wish I could go back to this other time period, because it's like 9 times out of 10, I don't care how pretty the corsets were.
No.
It fucking smelled like shit, like
God.
actual shit.
Speaking of corsets, freaking Kardashian at the Met Gala, did you see like what she had to do to get into her dress? She had like 3 men like basically pulling on this corset. It's the craziest. I've never, I mean, I know what corsets are supposed to do, but I had no idea like they did that, because that dress was like boop, boop.
I did a corset once, like a real one.
Yeah.
And I had a really small waist at the time anyway. Like my waist was like 24 inches at the time, and I got corseted down to like 22.
Jesus.
It is so fucking painful.
Yeah,
like
painful.
I'm like, I can't believe people did this. And you can't, it was for a photo shoot, and it's like, you can't move. Like he was like, can you like sit down or like do this other stuff? And I'm like, I can lean against this table. I can't like,
I could lay down flat.
Dude, I would not do it.
I couldn't go back in time for a lot of reasons. That's one of them because like, dude, the second I get done with work, I'm reaching in through my shirt, bra off. Good fucking
I did it
God.
one time on my way home from work
Oh,
on
yeah.
the highway. I was like, because I had a bra that was like at the end of its life, and so the underwire was poking through.
Oh, the worst.
And so I was like on the 101 stuck in traffic, pissed off already, and I was like, you know what? No,
Now's the time.
now's the time.
Dude,
it's coming off.
Nothing makes you feel like better than taking your bra off at the
breathing out.
end of the day, and it's just like. It's just the best. It's the best feeling. Yep. It makes me so happy. I'm like, fly, be free.
Free at last.
Free at last. Exactly. It's just the worst.
You can
I can't
feel
believe
your
we
breasts like sigh when you take them off. I'm like,
Yeah.
like we had to work all day too, mama.
Yeah.
That's why like right now, no bra. I have small enough boobs that I'm like on the weekend.
Yeah. I have fake enough boobs that I didn't.
Yeah, they just stay up.
No, I got
wow.
I got tiggle
Yeah,
bitties.
I did feel
that
really
need-
like attacked right then.
Yeah.
that
Cassie.
need to be
Yikes.
strapped down, tie it down, flip it up, and reverse it. Missy Elliott style. Just fucking lock it down. I know. I put my bra on and it makes the Law and Order sounds.
Oh man.
That's
God.
hilarious. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so
I got
funny.
like iced tea in the corner, like commenting on it.
Yeah.
It's a whole
real
thing.
nonchalant. Like,
Yeah.
all casual.
Oh my God. How did we get on this topic?
I don't even know.
I know.
We took a turn.
Yeah.
We always do.
We need to fuck, marry, kill. Who we doing this week?
Oh, shit, I don't
Anyone
even know.
got any ideas?
God, yeah, we didn't discuss.
We
beforehand.
did not. We did not.
Anything going
Here's
on right
one.
now?
Here's an idea. In honor of the very American name Archie, we could do Archie comic one.
I
Okay,
have no idea.
I'm not well versed, but I mean, I know Archie, Jughead. I know.
Yeah, that's it. Veronica.
Veronica and Betty.
Yeah.
Well,
That kinda
we could
sucks.
throw
Let's
women
see a
in if
different
we
one.
wanted to.
What about when is this airing? This week we got Mother's Day. Hot moms, MILFs.
MILFs. I'd have to think about that.
Okay.
We can do that.
I'm gonna. Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right. That's it. No, that's weird too.
I got Gwyneth Paltrow. It's the first one I thought of. Ooh, Gwen Stefani.
Is she a mother?
Yeah, she
Oh,
is.
They got like 3 kids.
yeah, that's right. Because dude face
Ooh,
fucked the
Victoria
nanny.
Beckham.
I'm gonna take it a different direction, and I'm gonna go Carol Brady.
Wow.
We should do TV moms,
TV
like
moms.
famous TV moms.
Okay.
All right.
That's a good one. Famous television mothers.
Ooh,
Um,
can I have Mrs. Cosby?
Yeah, of course you can.
I
It's
can't-
not her fault.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. I say yes.
Mrs.
Aw.
Huxtable.
Aunt Viv.
Ooh.
Which one? Dark skin or light skin, Aunt Viv?
Oh, I know.
Shit. I don't even remember.
I think there were more episodes with light skin.
They changed. Well,
Aunt Viv.
I remember dark skin Aunt Viv more.
I remember-
She was more memorable. I liked her better. But they did change like halfway through the series.
Yeah, what was that about? Oh, it's because her and Will Smith
They didn't get along. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I'm doing Mrs. Huxtable.
Okay, Mrs. Huxtable, Mrs. Brady,
Aunt Viv.
Aunt Viv. Okay. Whichever Aunt Viv we want, or
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
okay.
The
Oh
Aunt-
shit, this
the
is
Aunt Viv
hard.
from your memories.
Okay, oh no, God, I
No,
don't
it's
know.
fucking
I don't know.
hard.
This one's actually really hard.
Yeah, it is.
I think I have mine.
Okay, you go.
I'm gonna fuck Mrs. Brady, and here's why. I just feel like it's the '60s. It's late '60s.
Things are wild. She's
It's
got
wild.
that bowl cut. She looks demure,
and
but
they
you're
got
like,
and they got a key bowl. You know.
Dude, you look at that house, and
Yep.
they for real had like one of those key parties.
Swinger party.
oh yeah. I mean,
For
that's
sure.
true. Like she
Yep.
looks like all fucking
Yep.
Leave It to Beaver, but
Yep.
deep down, you're like, y'all were doing
Yeah.
some shady
Well,
shit.
and you know all the stories, the behind the scenes stories. There's
Yeah.
a lot of wild
Yeah,
ass shit
they had-
happening.
They had the key parties. There was like
Yep.
one of those Jello salads
Yes.
on the tin.
Oh God.
that their maid, whatever her name is.
Alice.
Alice. Oh God.
You guys watch a lot of Brady.
Oh no, I just remember reruns from childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
man.
really didn't watch that
Didn't
much
really
Brady.
watch that show at all.
Yeah.
No.
A couple times, yeah. I mean, But yeah, so I feel like she's key party wild child. And
I can see that. Yeah? I can see that
it's
for sure.
It's a time. I'm marrying Mrs. Huxtable.
She's a good wife.
God, I fucking love her so much.
She's so strong, so smart, so independent.
Yeah.
Just the best.
Yep. Yeah.
You're going to get rid of Aunt Viv?
And I hate to, because you know how much I love money. But
yeah.
Well, Aunt Viv was great. Like, I mean, that's great. Where my issues comes into, because like both Aunt Viv and Mrs. Huxtable were like cool, badass, strong ladies.
But you had this like idea that Mrs. Huxtable did not necessarily need Mr. Huxtable.
True.
She made money.
True.
She's doing her own damn thing, and that bitch ruled the roost.
Yeah, like, what did Aunt Viv do? Because she wasn't at home a lot.
That's my question.
So she had to have had a job.
I feel like she was. I don't think she did. I feel like she was the charity wife, like the wife who did all the like. We're doing this event or that event.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Which is
I don't
fine.
really remember either.
I kind of am more Mrs. Huxtable. I like that she's a badass bitch getting shit done.
Yeah.
Fair.
Wasn't she a doctor too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
or a
lawyer or something.
Yeah.
She
wasn't he a doctor?
He was a doctor,
and she was a lawyer, I think.
Something like that.
So
yeah.
hot.
And you know what? As a kid in that time frame, like I really appreciated having that visual of like, and I remember at the time not even thinking about it, but now as an adult thinking about it, like two very, very wealthy, respectable, high class, this visual of two Black people who that was normal to me because that was what was showing up in my house.
I mean,
that was normal.
That's why everything that happened with Bill Cosby was so tragic for
horrible.
like, I mean, and especially for Black families. It's why so many Black people can't seem to like accept it, is because like in my house, like in my grandparents' house, like growing up, like that was, I mean, it was important. It was so important that this was something that was like being shown on TV.
Yeah.
And so it was heartbreaking that like he's a piece of shit.
No.
But he is a piece of shit.
And it fucking is horrible that it is. Ugh,
yeah, it sucks.
It
It ruined, like, culturally, it was so culturally significant, and it's so like tainted now, and it sucks. But, you know, it doesn't change all of the positive stuff that it brought to our lives in our formative years.
Yeah.
At least not for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it really did. It you know, I grew up in Columbus, but I grew up outside of Columbus. So growing up in kind of a smaller town outside of there, I think that it's so easy to look around you and see only the people you see that look most people look
of course,
like you.
Yeah.
So it was in a formative time. And even I think too, because when you're a kid, you don't think about those things. So it's a subliminal message. Mm-hmm. It's the message of like, yeah, this is totally fucking normal. And just because it's not happening around you doesn't mean it's not normal. This happens everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have your answer?
I do.
What's yours?
Well, Aunt Viv's hot. I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna fuck Aunt Viv.
I feel like Aunt Viv would be kind of wild in the bedroom.
Did she have one of those dancer episodes where she like auditioned?
She did.
And she
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
She had like an African dance episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Shit.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna marry Mrs. Huxtable because same dude. I want to be a power couple with her.
Yes.
We would take over the world. And dude, Carol Brady is just way too saccharine for me. I'm like, I can't even with the whole like freaky key party. I mean, having to like be around her for like more than 5 minutes, I'd be like, can you not? Though?
I think
can you not?
Don't talk. Don't talk. I think I'm with you, Christina. You almost had me convinced with that freaky key party thing, because I bet you that's true. Like they were fucking.
The Bradys have that sex dungeon from that one post
where the house on the outside looks like the McAllister house, and inside you're like, what's happening in here? Mirrors on every wall.
The ceiling.
Wow. And I believe that, you know, Mr. Brady's hair is just long enough that I'm like, they were doing some freaky shit in there.
That was a key party house if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
For real.
If they could ever get their 18 million children out of the house.
Ugh.
I've walked past that house.
Yeah, it's close.
I took my Anthony's brother and sister-in-law there.
It's in Studio City, right?
Yeah, it's close by.
Yeah.
I'm sure people live there now, and they're like, could you not
keep
parking outside of our house.
Could you please put your key in the bowl?
Yeah, listen, if you're going to stop by.
Don't double dip on the chips.
Oh, God.
It's rude.
But I think I'm going to do the same as you, Christina, because, and also, you know, I'm team OG Aunt Viv, but you know, why pick? Why don't you just say Aunt Viv and then you have variety?
Exactly. Both.
You have both. Why not both?
Why not both?
Why not both at the same time?
Yeah. Both Aunt Vivs. Both Aunt Vivs. Oh my God, my head is spinning.
I think I saw that video.
I'm sure
someone on Pornhub.
You could type in 2 Aunt Vivs and I guarantee
Someone.
you, dude,
That's someone's kink.
I kind of want to
For
see.
sure.
I'm definitely
And
sure
if you
there's
find
something.
that video, please tag us immediately.
It's
if
my
not
worst
sooner.
date podcast at gmail.com.
Send us the link.
We need this.
Our people at Squarespace are going to be like, what are they? What's happening?
Our FBI agents are just shaking their
They're like,
heads.
They're like, oh, I don't know about this.
Disrespectful to the
report.
Fresh Prince. But yeah, I mean, I think that the only thing you can do is marry Mrs. Huxtable. I think you have to.
Yeah.
She's the shit.
She's a queen.
She's a good mom. She's a good wife. She's a boss bitch. She's holding it down.
Yep.
I like it. I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna fuck Aunt Viv. And, you know, sorry to leave so many children without a mother, but we're gonna have to.
Here's the thing.
Scrap Brady.
You're the one who brought her in.
I know, but
Yeah.
you know.
She is a famous TV mom.
She is.
She is
yeah,
one of
true.
the most famous TV moms.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about like that, you know, it's just culturally
Do you
significant.
Do you remember
but
in the 90s when they brought back like all those movies, the movie spoofs of the Brady Bunch?
Bad.
Oh, man.
That just entered my head.
And that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
That didn't feel like it needed to happen.
It
at all.
didn't. It didn't need to happen.
There was
at
a
all.
lot of things in the 90s that
Was.
didn't happen. And honestly, those movies are pretty close to top of the
that
list.
didn't need to happen. You know what else
Yeah.
didn't need to happen? The Scooby-Doo movie.
You know what else didn't need to happen?
God.
Honestly, any of the scary movies. Like Scary Movie.
I'm kind of with you on that. Some people love those.
Here's the thing.
I don't
you're gonna
think
spoof
spoofy
me? Ugh.
is funny.
It's
I
not.
don't like the cheesy, like over the top.
I
stuff
agree.
like that.
I feel the
And
same way.
can't
Not
like-
my thing.
don't
Not
like
my
it.
thing.
Did you have a story you wanted to share with us before we went to break?
No, it's my story for.
Ooh.
It's my story.
your
Well, let's hurry up and break so we can get to this.
All
All right, we'll be back with stories.
And we're back. Hello. Okay, let's get into this. I got my coffee. I'm ready. I've got the first story this week since I've got the Crazy in Love. This is an email we got through our website, myworstdatepodcast.com. After many hours of laughing and cringing at some of the horrible stories I've heard on your podcast, I thought maybe my worst date story might be good for a bit of both. In December 2018, I started talking to a girl on Tinder who was a few years younger than me. I was 21, she was 18. That's all right.
Yeah.
I didn't really
I mean,
think
it's not fun because you just turned 21. You're like, yeah, I can go to bars.
and
but
they're like, never mind, she
but
can't.
never mind, she
Yeah,
can't.
but as far as like age-wise, I mean, that's not really.
no,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
it's-
bad.
yeah.
Not bad at all.
I didn't really think dating someone that young would turn out well. Spoiler alert, it didn't. But she seemed very smart, funny, and like a genuinely nice girl. The girl, which I will call Beck, was living on campus at the university I had just graduated from, and we agreed that I would pick her up and go have a couple of drinks and chat around a shopping mall 5 minutes down the road. I arrive on campus and meet up with her, and she invited me to her dorm while she changed her clothes. From the first moment, I was really put off with her personality. She had done nothing wrong, but the mature, sophisticated vibe I was getting from the messages on Tinder weren't like the overly excited schoolgirl-esque one I was confronted with.
Ooh.
Being very recently single at the time, I decided to just go along with it and followed her up to the dorm. 5 minutes later, I find myself talking with Beck on her bed and getting the clues to make a move. Rebound slut phase, so I was all for it.
Oh, shit.
Hey,
Of course.
no judgment here.
No, literally.
Never done that.
Never been in that situation before.
Said me never.
And she leans in for a kiss. Before I get close enough to actually kiss her, however, she pulls away with her hands over her mouth and starts giggling like a 14-year-old. I ask what's wrong, and she replies, "Nothing. Ha ha, I'm scared."
Ew.
That's how he wrote it out.
Ew. Ew. We've already talked about
scared. Baby talk.
Oh, it's the worst.
I ask what the actual fuck she just said while laughing, and Beck says, I'm scared again.
Oh.
I go, all right, well, let's go for that drink, and go to leave, and she grabs me and starts kissing me. We're making out on her bed when she puts my
I have
hand
whiplash.
up, right? I'm sure he did too. Puts my hand up her skirt, and I start fingering her. Out of the blue, she starts laughing again, and I ask, what's wrong? And she replies with nothing. And as I go to put my hand there again, she says, no, I'm a child of God.
Oh, my God. Jesus, would you look at the time?
Good God. Wow.
Oh my God.
I say, okay, and apologize. And she then says, I'm not. I was kidding. Keep going.
No.
What is happening?
What?
Back and forth. And I, for some reason, go back to it. We know the reason. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's
we know
fine.
the reason.
You don't need to hide
explain
from
that.
us.
No, we get it.
It's fine. Things start moving to the next stage as my pants are off, and she again says, wait, no, I'm a child of God.
Can we leave the Holy Spirit out of this, please?
And then he was like,
I know.
You were having a threesome.
Jesus is in the room. Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
I just start laughing and pull my pants up and say, hey, look, I wasn't expecting to be in your room doing this. Would you like to just grab those drinks and chat? Very classy move, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
She bows her head a little and then says, I want to have sex, but don't just want it to be a one-off thing, you know? Now, I had already decided that whatever happened was going to be a one-off thing.
Yeah.
and
He's like, I'm not in a three-way relationship.
Not happening. And said that I respected that and we should just go get some drinks. We head to my car, and on the way to the mall, she mentions how she has to do a quick 15-minute shop for her brother and sister's Christmas presents, which I had no problem with. My mate rings, he's British, he says apologize with an S, and then his mate rings his phone. Just as we arrive to the mall, and I put him on speaker so Beck can hear him, because I'm assuming he will ask to go to the pub later on.
Nice.
Trying to get out.
Yeah,
that out.
It's smart.
I check with her and organized to meet up with him at the pub close to my house, 45 minutes away, which gave 2 hours with Beck. The 2 hours pass, and I'm still yet to touch a beer with Beck because she is shopping with her for her brother and sister while I walk around Toys R Us by myself.
Oh, God.
I hesitantly ask if I can take her home so I can catch up with my mate, and she agrees. In the car on the way home, her mom rings her and makes sure to tell her she makes sure to tell her that she's on a date with a guy, and I have to start talking to this girl's mom about myself.
Oh my
no.
God.
No.
So let's see. You're finger banging a chick that brings up God, then walking around to Toys R Us, and then talking to her mom.
Great date.
I hate this story.
Great
Yeah.
date.
I hate this date so hard.
Me too.
I finally drop her back on campus, and Beck apologizes for not being able to find presents for her siblings and that she's really good at picking things quickly, usually. I already have my outfit for some sort of country festival, says Beck. Oh, really? I reply. When's that? In April. OMG, you have to come.
OMG, no, I do not.
I already booked that day.
I'm sorry. I'm busy every day until April. I start laughing at the idea of being invited to something 4 months after the time of the first date, but brush it off and say that I'll think about it. She gets out of the car, and I drive to the pub and proceed to explain the shit show of an afternoon that I have just had.
Oh, no, she shows
Almost
up.
as if in a comedy movie, my mate's girlfriend says to me, well, at least you'll never have to see her again. And my phone comes up with a text message. Hey, did I leave my wallet in your car?
No.
I checked my car and
sneaky
bitch. I checked my car.
That's an 18-year-old move, if ever.
It sure fucking is.
Yeah.
Leave something in the car. And found said wallet, and after debating between the three of us, we decided I would drop it off to her tomorrow which I told her. The next day, I handed that wallet to her at work, walked out the door, and blocked that number. I don't know how many red flags you guys would find in that story, but I definitely stopped dating for a couple months and started just talking and easing my way back into socializing with girls.
Oh my God, I love this guy.
I love that he was like, that's all I needed. Lesson learned.
See, he got those red flags quick and was like, deuces.
Yeah. I'm out. He only had to spend a couple of hours. So
I really need to talk with this guy. Maybe he can give me some pointers.
He's so hard on himself. He says, I did many things on that date that I shouldn't have, but hope you guys find it at least funny.
Aww. It's so funny.
It
was
so
funny. And I don't think you made that many mistakes. I think you made really good choices. She told you she wanted to stop. You were like, all right, we're going to stop. She said she didn't want it to be a one-time thing. And you were like, cool, it's going to be. So we're going to leave
stop
right now.
Yeah.
I think you did all the right things in this story.
I love this guy.
Yeah. Agreed. Thank you for writing
Have
in.
you met my friend Christina?
Yeah, British. Have you met my friend Christina? UK edition.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
We used British English for that one.
Exactly.
The Queen's English.
That's right.
All right. So mine is from the podcast Why I'm Single, which is funny because this is the second time they've come up. And she says, OMG roommates. I was 14 when I met this guy. He looked like Kurt Cobain. It was the 90s.
That'll fucking get you.
Yep.
I don't even care if it's the 90s. If you're 14 and a guy looks like Kurt Cobain, you're like, I'm done. Yeah.
He was 16. I was like, meow. She gives the cat emoji with like the heart eyes. Fast forward.
Relatable.
Fast forward life moves. I left the state. I'm now back in my hometown. So 10 years later, all grown up, I meet this guy in a bar. We reminisce. He's adorable, in his 20s too. My roommate is leaving me. She's moving on, and I need to split my $750 rent. She goes, OMG, I'd kill for that kind of mortgage now.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Same.
Oh my God.
Same.
I can't even imagine having a $750.
Dude, if I had that rent, I would be ballin'.
If you were splitting it, so you were paying like $325 a month?
Oh my God.
I drive a Maserati.
I would be literally swimming in. I'd be like fucking DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck. Like swimming in coins.
Scrooge McDuck.
That's amazing.
Anyway, he needs a place to live. Perfect, right? I'll spare all the chaotic details, maybe rose-colored glasses, because caused me to overlook obvious red flags. I started noticing that my spoons were missing. The ones I did find, the ones I did find were bent.
No,
weird. Maybe he's a spoon bender.
Oh my God.
I like it that this guy is so cute. His blue eyes are so deep that you're like, I don't know, maybe he's just really aggressive when he eats cereal. I was like, no,
he just likes bending spoons.
No, ma'am.
She's like, it's a thing,
deal,
right?
It's a thing, right?
Yeah. He just uses all your spoons to like scoop out ice cream.
Oh my God.
Man. One night, I'm sitting on the basement steps. He's below in the chair, and I see it, an orange cap. It's a hypodermic needle. He's not diabetic. My young crush turned roommate is a huge heroin addict, and it was a nightmare.
He had a lot to in common with the actual Kurt. Sadly.
I don't like
Sorry,
that.
it's true.
Yeah.
So he owed me about $3,000 when I finally called his parents and was like, get him out of my house. I've ran into him here and there. He always has stories about someone close to him has just died. I don't let on where I live. I grew up, made a life for myself, and can reflect on that. Everything I accomplished might have happened with a couple of wrong decisions.
Oh, poor guy.
It's so true. I can relate to that.
Poor
so
everyone
hard.
in this story.
Yeah. She said, you can share the story if you want to. And she's Amy D from, again, Why I'm Single. She says, we love you all and quite often end up mentioning your podcast on our podcast when we were referencing something hilarious or relatable. Oh, well, thank you so much.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
That's so heartbreaking.
It
it's
is.
like that moment where you're, and she was so young, too. Like, that's like real. That's
and it's hard to have your first real crush like that, like, be destroyed.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it does. Yeah.
Because that stuff lingers. Like that person,
totally.
like you create an entire false narrative about that who that person is in your
100%.
brain because you're 14 and like, you know, you're in the middle of your sexual awakening and this guy is going to live on in your brain. And then to have that kind of like harsh reality check that like it's not who you
Not who
thought
you
he was.
thought
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Sucks.
It's a fucking bummer of a story, but dude, the fucking bent spoons all over the house.
and she's just like,
I literally was like,
"He's a spoon." He's just really aggro with his spoons.
He's a magician. Is that worse though? Is that worse?
A
that he's a
magician?
magician?
What if he was a spoons player? Like she comes home, it's like
Spoonman. You're like crush.
I just now got
ruined.
that song.
Okay, well, my story. It's been a while since I've shared a personal one.
I am
I'm
so
ready.
ready.
I'm
It
perched.
is a personal one. It is a shame receipt a little bit, and I'm ready. I'm ready for you guys to call me out.
Okay. Is this the drink during red flags?
This one happened a while ago. I know I've talked to you guys about a dog almost throwing up on me.
Sure.
This is another level, though.
Oh no.
Oh no. I'm nervous.
So I matched with a guy on an app, and we're talking back and forth all day through the app, and he's super fucking witty. Really funny.
Love that.
He, like, the way that he asks for my number, he's like, hey, let me get your number so I can text you like a normal stranger. You know, it was just like really
cute. I
like,
like it.
it's
I
cute.
like it
and it
too.
was like a little cocky, but not like in a bad way.
Kind
Right.
of cheeky.
Cheeky.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were able to go back and forth texting all day, talking about music, sharing music, and all kinds of stuff. And it comes up, I had missed, I guess, on the app that he had kids. He has 2 kids,
Got
a
it.
6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Oh,
So like
those
kids.
ages
Babies.
and those ages too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I have kids. It's not like I have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old when you can be like
No, they're
those are
gonna have
adults.
deuces
They're
in, like, a
little
couple of years, yeah.
This is my life for the next 15 years. So
Yeah.
I'm like, not a deal breaker, but I've never really like dated people with kids. I don't know if it's for me. You know what I
Sure.
mean? To like,
You're
but
right. Already come
but
this
it's
far.
also, but like I'm like I haven't even met this guy yet. It's too soon to like
Start
tell.
making
So I'm
those.
just,
Might
exactly.
as well
So
go
I'm
get
like,
coffee or whatever and
Exactly.
see.
so he is flying back from New York when we were talking. So he was able to text so frequently because he was just sitting in an airplane. He didn't have anything else to do. So he's like, I get back from New York City tonight. Like, let's hang out. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. He's like, I live in Playa del Rey. So I'm like, well, I'm not coming
God,
until
strike
later.
number 2. Like,
Because really, like after 8, it's like a 25-minute drive from
Yeah.
West Hollywood. It's not far. Before 8, it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
no.
It's like forever.
no.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. He can be like an after 8 friend, you know? And he's like, okay, so here's where you can judge. He's like, well, you can come to my place and we'll sit by the pool. And I'm thinking, this motherfucker, because I Googled him.
Of
This
course you did.
motherfucker is, he's like done things in capital letters. Like, I'm
Okay.
like, so this motherfucker has a place in Playa del Rey with a pool? I'm like, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
I want to check it out. So
I'm not judging that.
I'm not okay. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think
I'm
that's-
just a stranger. I'm like, I almost screenshotted it and texted it to you guys and be like, if I get
time out.
murdered,
I
Here's
do
where
think
we
you
are.
should have done that.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
exactly where I'm going. Always fucking do that.
Yeah, I think you should do that.
Don't ever fucking go to somebody's place,
Right.
first date, and not fucking say this is who I'm with, this is where I'll be,
Right.
Because I'm not having that. I'm actually a little
yeah.
I'm a little
Right.
spicy right now.
Listen, if they
You're
if
like,
they fucking
I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble with mom. I see. This is the reason why I didn't
Yeah.
tell this story because I'm like, mom, I'm
This
gonna
is
get
why
in
you saved
trouble
this.
with mom.
if
You
they
are
get
in
us
trouble
on
with Mom.
Dateline, we want to be able to be like,
I know. It would have been a killer Dateline
because
story too.
this Dateline story would be like she would never go to somebody's house without telling
No,
us.
absolutely.
And this
Then we
bitch
look
did,
like the idiots.
and we look like the
we
idiots.
look like the dumb people who don't know our friend.
No. Okay. I promise. I will from now on. I promise actually that I'll never do this again.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
text
here we
us.
go.
We won't judge you. We
Yeah.
just want to know where you are.
Yeah, of course we'll never judge you.
So I get there. He has wine ready. He's cute. He's tall. Here's the thing though. and I'll bleep out this name. You know who he looked like? Mannerisms and everything. It freaked me out because he didn't look like this in the photos. He looked like
whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, that's immediate. Like,
but like an in shape taller.
Yeah.
But it's still like he had enough of his mannerisms that I was like it's kind of
don't like that.
Kind of a little bit of a like blast from the past where I was like, oh, this is weird. So I kept having to shake that off, but it's still like a good time that
and not his fault.
That text back and forth like really translated to real life, and we're having a good time sitting drinking wine. His place is pretty nice. There's like some like kid stuff and stuff around, but it's nice. It's a nice place.
Well, and there should be, because honestly, if he
it'd be weird if he did it.
Yeah, if he had a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and there wasn't kid stuff around, I'd be like, are you a sociopath? Like, why don't you have any kids?
Also, do you not ever get to see them?
Yeah, do you not? Are you not? I don't. Yeah.
So we're sitting and talking, and he's got his hands on my leg, and it's starting to get like a little bit like flirty and serious. And then I hear a pitter patter of little feet.
The kids are home.
No.
And a child is about as far away from me as you are
2
to
feet.
me. 2 feet. And projectile vomits everywhere.
Oh my God.
Like a literal gallon of vomit.
Oh, Exorcist style, just fucking.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I would have puked right after it.
Did
I'd have been like, ugh.
did he not tell you that they were home?
He told me they were home, but that they were asleep. Like, I didn't know, like, I was like, I don't know. Here's the thing. I also didn't want to tell this story to come off as shaming. Like, I don't know what it's like to date with kids. I don't know what the rules are.
Hard. I'm sure it's absolutely very difficult. But
Cassie, you want to lay down on this?
So, okay, of course I'm going to lay down on this because I was a single mom for a very long time.
Yeah, lay down what the rules.
The rules for this are: I would never, ever, 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 and maybe this is a guy versus girl thing, but I would never, ever, ever invite a first date over to my house, whether my son was sleeping
there
or not sleeping.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, he doesn't know you.
You wait
either.
for your weekend off. You wait for, or nanny is there, or whatever. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, you never cross that path. I would
That's
never.
That's weird, right? Like, why not get a babysitter and invite you out somewhere else? Because he doesn't know you either. Like, you could be like a psycho, and his kids are in the house. Like, I would never do that.
He knows where you live now, or he knows where he lives now.
He lives now. I wouldn't. That's weird to me.
Yeah, that's a big, big, big red flag no for me.
Yeah.
But again, I think maybe it's a mom versus dad thing. Maybe it's a guy. I think because women are immediately hesitant about like having a guy at their house, even if they don't have children, let alone if you have children.
Right.
Having a strange man in your home.
Let us know if guys and girls, write in and let us know what your rules are. If you're a single parent, let us know if that seems odd to you, or
even
if it's
you're
something
not a
you
single
would
parent,
do.
just as a parent, like what is your thoughts on bringing a stranger into your home?
Yeah, because like dating with kids, I'm like, I don't have a lot of experience. Like I said, I missed the fact that he had kids. I may not have matched with him just because I just know my own things with it, and I'm like, I don't know, but
I'm just picturing in my head though, just like because I know you, and I'm just picturing your face just being like,
the fuck did you do? Did you just like leave with vomit on you? Like,
well, he didn't vomit on you,
he
right?
didn't vomit on me. Again, it's like the dog situation. It was in very close proximity because literally, it's like if Keegan.
It's like if I projectile
vomited right now. Maybe
situation.
A little bit, but like not much. But like mouth agape watching like this tiny little 6-year-old.
Also, and I have to say, not to like judge a 6-year-old.
Jesus.
But
maybe don't. Let's skip that.
No. But like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know that I've ever like. I would have gone. I don't think I ever like threw up, just mouth agape, not trying to like stop the vomit.
If you're really sick, here's the other thing. Christina doesn't know the difference between the age 6 and 4, so this could have been the 4-year-old.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so this could have been the 4-year-old.
I don't know which one.
Honestly, when kids don't think to go to the bathroom to vomit, they think to come to parent to vomit.
My mom drilled into me to go to the bathroom to vomit and then go get her. Like that's what I did. That's what I would do. And then she would go and put a bucket
But in the middle of the
my
night, you wake up scared. You think you're sick. You want parents.
If you don't know you're going to throw up, then
Yeah.
Like if you don't know you're going to throw up, maybe maybe you didn't know.
I felt fucking terrible. Like literally,
You're
I'm like,
have fun cleaning this up. I have to go right now.
putting my shoes on.
It's been a night.
Oh my God.
It was great until it wasn't.
And deuces.
It's
so
been real.
It's
how'd you
real.
handle that? Like, I mean, what happened after?
He was mortified.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Mortified.
Yeah.
So
Bad
I felt
timing.
really bad.
Yeah. He has to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he also got swept away in like the texting and the back and forth, and was just like, I got to shoot my shot. I gotta. So he might have like
jumped the gun
a little bit and just been like, I really want to meet this. So I felt bad for him, and like, you know, obviously like the date was over at that point. It wasn't just like, wait until I clean this up and then, you know, then we can.
Then we'll bang.
No, you have
like,
a sick kid.
He is sick kid. He's like, so
that's where his priority should have been.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like,
and I think that kind of hits the nail on the head. And I think that's the reason why I don't match with people with kids, is because I know myself. I am a little bit of a narcissist. I want all the attention.
Sure.
And I don't want to have to share. So I shouldn't, you know, his priorities were definitely in the right place, and that he's like, went with his kid. And so I'm just like,
he will find somebody who wants to be involved in all of that.
Yes.
For sure.
But definitely watching a 6-year-old projectile vomit was like, that's a boner.
No for me.
That's a boner killer.
Yeah,
for
like,
sure.
It's going to be a no from me.
I like how funny you are, but not that much.
Exactly. So,
yeah, like maybe if it was a 16-year-old, but not a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. Wow. Well, you know what? I'm excited for the return of Christina stories. I'm really happy about that. I know our listeners are too.
Sad.
Yes. I'm sorry for you.
Yeah.
Happy for me.
Yeah. Well, you know, and who's to say? I don't know. You guys know that I might be dating somebody right now, but I actually don't really know if I am or not. But hope to get some resolution on that soon.
Yeah, there's a few red flags on that play.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah. We'll see.
And who knows if I'm even playing? You know, so we'll see. Anyways, I want to get more single parent stories, because
yes, please. And I'm sorry if we come across as judgmental.
No,
the only one here who's
so
been
hard
a
to
parent
date.
is Cassie. So
it's so hard to date. I can't even imagine doing it with children.
I think about that too, because I think, you know, like I look at, you know, ending up with Chris, and I'm like, brave for somebody to step into a relationship like that. That's right. You know what I mean? Like, if personally, I wouldn't have, because I don't like kids. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm the same way though. Like, for me, it's a bold move for somebody to be like, you know what? I'm willing to put in the work because I want to be involved with you.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to me to be involved with all of you.
Yeah. I think about that a lot, because my mom and my stepdad met when my mom was 26 and my stepdad was 21 or 22. Mm-hmm. And I was 3 and my brother was 4.
Ooh.
And they've been together since then.
Wow, a 21-year-old man
so
to step in.
He stepped in as dad, and like we had a really, like, he's not one to like talk a lot, and like we had a really like open conversation when I went home this last time, and he's like, when we moved from New Mexico to Las Vegas as a family, he was 22. And he was like, I know that now you can realize how young 22 was.
Wow.
And I was just like, yeah, 22 was a baby.
Yeah.
A baby, and you decided to be a dad, to like
step into your life.
Yeah, to
in a real way.
To these like
and that's
tiny children.
Almost like more. I mean, my dad was 30 when he met my mom, who's 20.
Which is still young.
And I was 1. I was a baby.
Yeah.
And he gave me his
dad.
last name.
Yeah.
He is my dad. He's never like made that a thing. I think that's incredible, you know,
you
and I'm
can do
so
it, I think it's
grateful.
amazing. I think it's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard. And so like if you can do that, like props to you. Same as if you can be a single mom, like that's something, or a single parent, like that's something that I see a lot too. Like this woman I worked with, you know, her wife just had a kid and she came back from child bonding leave, and she was like, the one thing she kept saying over and over is like, I don't know how people do this by themselves, because like she's like, I've got me and my wife and we're both tapped out on exhaustion, being available all the time. I don't know how people do it alone. So, you know, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right.
Woo, ready for your crazy in love.
Okay. So this is kind of something that people have asked us to talk about a few times. I've gotten a few messages from people who were like, you should talk about this. And it was something that's been on my radar for a while, but I hadn't wanted to talk about it because the podcast on it is so comprehensive and huge that I was just like, there's no reason for us to touch it. But here we are.
Okay. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like we're not going to go like deep dive. You know, for most of it, it's more like
some people just want the
our thoughts.
Yeah,
on the subject
and
as
so
well.
So this came up for me. I hadn't even heard about the podcast. You know, my YouTube channel suggestions are 3 things. It's
cat videos,
beauty tutorials.
Yep.
Karaoke songs, and true crime. That's typically phenomenal. What it is. The occasional cat video will pop up, but I get most of that through groups on Facebook.
That's right.
On YouTube, I just like turned it on and I let the first kind of thing play, and it was an Australian story. And it was about the teacher's pet. And I was like, okay.
I don't know the story.
Let's do this. And I watched that. So I watched that before I even knew it was a podcast. Mm-hmm. And then I started getting suggestions from people in my personal Facebook who listened to the podcast, listened to our podcast, and were like, you should do this story for your Crazy in Love. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so after I finished Root of Evil, I was looking for something else, kind of investigative journalist like, and was like, okay, I'm going to start listening to Teacher's Pet, because the story, when I had watched the YouTube story, was bananas. And so I started listening to this podcast, and I will say, I know we just touched on it. Go listen to it. If you hear this story and you're like, that seems interesting, I kind of want to know the details. Yeah. This is like, I mean, it is, I don't know, like a 14 episode podcast.
Serial, yeah.
So there's a lot of details that you can get from listening to that podcast. And so I highly suggest that you go and do that. We're not going to cover all that stuff.
Well, it's like when I did the disappearance of Susan Powell, it's like, it's the same thing. And they had Cold, and it's like, go get all the details, because I did not even deep
I'm going to scratch the surface on the basics of this case.
Well, the good thing is I really don't know this story. So this now is going to make this first thing I'm going to do is probably fucking download Teacher's Pet.
Yeah, you should.
I know. I haven't listened to that podcast yet too, but
and they're all Australian, and so you're like, you just get to listen to Australian people talk for like 14 episodes. Okay, so this is the disappearance of Lyn Dawson.
Got it.
So Lynette and Chris Dawson met in high school. They were both, if you were to Google like perfect Australian couple, like this is what you're going to find. They're like both blonde and tan and beautiful. And they met in high school, and they were both like prefects in high school, very popular. And they got together right away. They stayed together. Now, Chris is a twin. He has a twin brother named Paul, identical twins. And I don't want to shade twins, because I know a lot of great twins. But
how would we shade twins? That's weird.
No, because people are like, they're creepy. So I know a lot of amazing identical twins who have their own personalities and are very like different. Chris and Paul.
Not those people?
Not those people. It is fucking creepy. Like, you can go back and watch videos of them. They were in this like because they were very good looking, and they became professional rugby players and on the same team. And they were on the same team because Paul was the better rugby player, but they wouldn't join teams apart from each other. They had to join a team together, so they joined a team that took them both.
Okay.
So they were part of like the Newtown Jets.
Did they have their own like language and
They
shit
did.
like that?
Growing up, they had their own language. They had to go to speech therapy as children because they talked to each other in their own language.
My sister are twins, and my dad said like when they were little, they definitely had their own language. Nobody could understand them at each other.
Oh my
It's
God.
weird. It's weird.
I love that.
And you can find old videos like in the 1970s. They were featured on because they were models as well, and they were these rugby players because they were so good looking. And you can watch this old, it's called Checkerboard. And I guess it's like a Australian like daytime like show where they spotlight people. And they did a show on twins. And so you can see Lynette talking and Paul's wife, Marilyn, talking, and they cover them as being like, and so they got a lot of video of them like doing the same things at the same time, wearing the same outfits. They got married around the same time.
Wait, so they're full grown adults still wearing the same outfits?
Yes. And like they,
I don't like that.
So Paul and Marilyn built their house just up the street from Chris and Lyn. They live next to each other. And then they both went on, Paul and Chris went on to both be PE teachers at the same school.
Yikes.
So they
think they wife swapped
everything. And that question was brought up in this Checkerboard program. And they were like, no, we never did that. Bullshit. And I kind of believe that they never wife swapped, but we're going to get into some shit here.
I feel like it reminds me of that movie, spoiler alert, the one, the illusionist one where he's
yeah.
The magic one.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so they both go on to be teachers at this high school called Cromer High in Australia on like Sydney's like northern beaches there in Australia. So Chris and Lyn struggled to get pregnant for a long time. Meanwhile, Paul and his wife had 2 daughters. And after a while, they were able to get pregnant. And then Chris and Lyn also had 2 daughters who they adored. So while Chris was teaching at Cromer High School, he takes on, how am I going to phrase this? He begins a really inappropriate pursuit of a 16-year-old girl named Joanne Curtis.
I don't like that.
Nope.
So he is in his mid-30s at this time. He starts writing her notes. He leaves notes in her backpack in her locker. He switches classes that he's teaching so that he can be her teacher, so that he can kind of like get her on her own. Now, this is a thing that through The Teacher's Pet, you'll find out was extremely common. Like, it was kind of out in the open. Everyone kind of knew that this was just something that teachers did with students.
What?
Yes, at these
When
schools.
does this happen again?
In the early 80s, or the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh my God.
So
that's weird.
And it was like 3 schools in this area, to the point now where they like students from these schools have gotten together because of this podcast and like exchanged names of like teachers who have done things, including Paul Dawson, the other twin.
Wow.
So this was something that was kind of commonplace. So people knew Joanne and Chris had kind of started a quote unquote relationship.
I don't know.
That was
is making me
very
think of Matthew McConaughey's character in Dazed and Confused.
gross.
Totally.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They stay the same age.
Yeah.
All right.
So he starts this relationship with her. Meanwhile, Joanne has a really shitty home life. So she's 16. Her parents are divorced. She lives with her mom and her mom's husband. And her mom's husband is shitty to her, like is violent towards her and violent towards her mother. And her mother takes her husband's side in their disagreements. So
dude, it's so funny that we talked about like our own stepdads who I would say none of us, we call him dad, you know, and just like it's
stark contrast.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's close with her father, but her father lives in a place, like lives outside of, she'd have to switch schools if she wanted to live with her dad and like all of this stuff. So Chris starts taking Joanne on these driving lessons. He starts leaving his classes alone so that him and Joanne can have alone time in his office.
No.
And it's kind of like a rumor that goes around school that teachers know about it. The principal gets interviewed for Teacher's Pet, and he's like, well, I tried to put a stop to it, and Chris was like, you just have a dirty mind. I'm just trying to help her out, and I couldn't do anything because I didn't physically see anything happening. So I just
What if she's not complaining?
She's not complaining. And legally in Australia at this time, I don't know if it's still the case, 16 was the age of consent. So while it was massively inappropriate because he was her teacher and he should have been fired.
And fucking married. Hi.
And married.
With 2 kids.
With 2 kids.
2 girls.
So he brings Joanne into their home as the babysitter of his children. And Lyn has no idea. She trusts her husband implicitly. Like everybody who's interviewed is like, she trusted Chris completely. And everyone's like, you know, this seems odd. She would come home to things like Joanne swimming naked in their pool and things like that.
No.
And then, so she goes to a friend after they had just had an argument, Lyn and Chris. And the argument was over whether or not to allow Joanne to move into the house because things at home had gotten so bad for her. And Lyn didn't want to let that happen. But clearly...
Weird. Her alarms are going off. That's weird.
Her alarms are going off, but Chris pushed the issue and said, no, like we have to let him in. So she defended Chris by being like, he's just trying to be protective of her. She has a really bad home life. And so he's just being a good person by like letting her live with us. No. So and that's all her friends were like, this is suspicious. This is fucking weird. Like, you shouldn't allow this to happen. But she was like, well, I don't really see that there's anything that I can do.
In your own home, you have nothing.
Around this time too, so there weren't a lot of people who were able to say that they saw anything physical, but there was a dressmaker and some people she was a part-time nurse at a daycare center or something like that who noticed bruises on her and on Lyn. And Lyn did say that it was a result of him being rough with her, but she kind of always shrugged it off as like, I did something to upset him or like piss him off. And, you know, he just grabbed me or whatever. And so she would have bruises on her arms or like on her legs. So one day Lyn comes home and finds Joanne in her bed with Chris. Still, she doesn't kick her out. Still doesn't kick her out.
Oh.
In the meantime, in the evenings, Joanne later went on to say that whenever he wanted to be with her at night, Lyn was not a drinker, but Chris would make her a drink. And after she had a drink, she would knock out, and Chris and Joanne would go be together for the evening.
Oh, ugh.
So then,
dude, let me tell you, like, I've had that moment of realization. Like, you don't want to believe it. There's red flags like going off in your head. Like, this is unusual.
Seems not right.
This seems not right. And then that wave of realization when it finally hits you that you were right and something is going on. And it's visceral.
Right.
It's like
I feel it in my stomach right
physical
now just thinking about it.
Feeling. And it's the literal worst feeling. It's the literal worst.
And I think her level of denial must have been really intense because even after that happened, she still allowed her to be in her house until, and like, I think it's interesting to see where everyone's breaking points are because Chris had to undergo some kind of surgery on like his nose, and he told Lyn not to come to the hospital. He was like, I don't want you to come to the hospital. You know, like, we've been having problems. I don't want you there. And so she didn't go. But Lyn's mother, Helena, went to the hospital to see Chris and walks into the room, and Joanne is on the bed with Chris, like tending to his, like patting his nose with a washcloth, and just like something that was like a really intimate thing. And so Helena, Lyn's mom, calls Lyn and tells her that, and it's that night that Lyn goes to Joanne and says, you've been taking liberties with my husband and like you need to get out of my house.
Yep.
So Paul and Marilyn, Chris's twin and his wife, take Joanne in and they let Joanne live with them.
What in the are you fucking
up the street?
kidding?
They just like let him like let her live with them. And yeah.
Wow,
and
what a betrayal.
It truly is.
On
but like
many
these
levels.
two twins are so fucking close. It's like so weird.
Yeah, but Marilyn's not. And
Should
like
be.
fucking, oh no. That is a Thanksgiving dinner.
I don't want to be at.
Nope.
No, thank you. And so some time goes on, and around Christmas, 2 days before Christmas, Lyn, she does not drive. She does not have a license. She can't get around on her own. So she's waiting to be picked up from work by Chris, and he doesn't show up. And so she is like kind of concerned about that, tries calling. He is not picking up. So she finally takes the bus home, gets home, and finds a letter from Chris saying that he's left to like start a new life and not to paint too bad a picture of him with his girls. And so this is 2 days before Christmas. So she's like,
my
fuck.
God.
Meanwhile, Chris has taken Joanne. They are going to go start a new life, like up the Gold Coast in Australia. They're gone for like 24 hours before Joanne starts feeling like sick about it. She's like, I don't like this. Keep in mind, this is like a 16 or 17-year-old at this point.
Yeah.
She's a child.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so she's like, I want to go home.
Yeah.
So 24 hours later, they had all these plans, like start a new life. 24 hours later, they go back and they stay with Paul and Marilyn. So Christmas Day, Chris is up the street from his wife and daughters, and they don't know that he's back. Like Paul and Marilyn just keep that secret. So then Joanne's like, I want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is too much. Like, she starts to feel like bad, I think.
She's
and
like,
so
I'm 16.
Yeah,
I don't
so
want to be your fucking child
she's like,
bride.
I want to go back to my mom's house. And so
My dad issues are not that bad.
He gets angry and like kicks, like basically, like she's like, he kicked my things out of he took me to my mom's house, kicked my things out of the car, and then just like left me on the side of the road, and he went home. And so Lyn is like, I want to try couples counseling. And he's like, okay.
Wow. She is
Forgiving.
much more forgiving than I would be.
Right. I mean, and this is also after, sorry, I missed something here. Like New Year's Day, he spends New Year's with Joanne, and she's like, Lyn is like, we've had such a bad Christmas. Can I just, he tells her that he's going to go up somewhere for New Year's. And Lyn is like, the girls and I have had such a bad Christmas without you here. Can we go with you? Like where you're going? And he was like, no. And told her that he was going by himself.
Oh my God.
And met up with Joanne.
God.
Wow.
So they go to couples counseling, and it's said that when they were at counseling, or right before they were getting ready to go, he grabbed her really roughly and says, if this doesn't work, I'm getting rid of you. So they have counseling.
Wow.
Why did he even go? It's so weird to me that he even agreed to go to couples counseling, because his personality doesn't seem...
No.
I think I know
flexible
why.
in the least.
I think I know why. Because after counseling, they're seen together. They kind of almost make a show of walking around together, holding hands, which is something they did not do.
Covering his ass. Alibi.
Seeming really happy. He tells people that they're going to make another go of it. Counseling went really well. She does the same thing. That night, Helena, Lyn's mom, calls the house and is like, hey, can I talk to Lyn? And Chris is being really evasive. He's like, couples counseling went really well. I think we're doing really better. Like, we're going to like try and make this work. And she's like, can I talk to my daughter? And he doesn't want to put her.
Great. Can you put her on the phone?
Yeah. Fantastic. Can you just, and
it's not what I called for.
Not what I called for. And so he is really hesitant, but he puts Lyn on the phone. And Lyn sounds really groggy, and she's like, things are good now. I think everything's going to be okay. And it's in Helena's diary that when she talked to Lyn, she told Lyn that she sounded half sozzled, which is like such an Australian thing to say. But like, it was just like, you're not a drinker and you sound drunk. And so she tells her mom that Chris has made me a lovely drink. And that's the last time she talks to her daughter. And after that,
this is really like hurting my heart.
it's bad because like after that, she's gone. Like she is gone. Like, none of her things are gone. She is gone. Chris is telling everybody that, just like he did around Christmas, because he told everyone that at Christmas, whenever he went off with Joanne, that he was by himself sorting himself out. And so he tells everyone that Lyn is doing the same thing. And she's just sorting herself out because they've been having problems, and that she's going to come back, and she's been calling him. But no contact with anybody else. And so eventually he goes to the police and it's just like, my wife ran off, left me and my daughters. But 2 days after Lyn's disappearance, Joanne had been up with friends somewhere, like camping, and had like demanded, like Chris had demanded that she call him like constantly. And so he talks to her like 2 days after Lyn disappears and tells Joanne Lyn's gone, she's not coming back, and moves her into the house.
Oh,
like 2 days later,
God.
She starts sleeping in the bed right away. She starts wearing Lyn's clothes right away.
Oh no.
He starts asking that the girls call her mom right away. And the cops are people who knew him from his like rugby days. He was kind of a celebrity where they lived. And so they just believed him that she went away.
I get it. It's the 80s, but come on.
Yeah, they just believed him. Like, all of these things he doesn't mention in his statement. He doesn't mention Joanne at all. He blames her disappearance on the fact that she had spending problems, and that's what the problem in their marriage was, that she overspent on credit cards.
Not that, I've been fucking the babysitter.
A 16-year-old in our house. Yeah, it doesn't mention any of it. In the meantime, it's awful. It's awful. In the meantime, he repaves their pool.
Interesting.
And it becomes kind of like a running joke at the high school that like Lyn's under the swimming pool.
That's not a joke.
Yeah.
That's for real.
Awful. Like, so everybody knows. I mean, like, this girl was in high school with all these people who are just like, oh yeah, now she lives at home with Chris Dawson. He proposes to Joanne and gives Joanne Lyn's rings, her wedding rings.
Nope, don't like that.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
Wow.
So then
I am shocked.
Joe, and nothing happens.
Don't want the hand-me-down murder ring. That's
thank you. There's bad juju attached to that.
There's bad
ring.
juju attached to everything in this story.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. There's like so much circumstantial evidence, and nothing fucking happened. Nothing happened. Like, they went. So Joanne and Chris move away. They sell that. Like, first of all, it's not long after after Lyn is gone that Chris like puts in a bid to basically be like, how long does she need to be gone before I can sell this house, because it's her assets. Like, she's like, she's not coming back. I don't know where she is. So like, how long before I can like get her, I can sell the house and like get her assets.
Wow.
And so he does. He sells the house. Him and Joanne move. They get married. They have another daughter. Poor Joanne is like, she's like,
how does she not?
That's what I want to talk about. It's like, okay. So I always wonder, like, how do the psychopaths like sleep at night? And it's like they sleep just fucking fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but Joanne
is
not a fucking psychopath. She's got to be some sort of like victim, because she's 16 and taking
but still red flags.
But still red flags. And it's like, she fucking knows. She knows.
She's gotta know.
And well, okay, it's gonna come out later. This story has so many like twists and turns, but like, I think she did know, but I think she felt so like, you can hear her, because later on she goes to the police, like once she leaves Chris.
Oh, good.
She goes to the police. But I think it's so clear that like she thought she was unwanted and that she had nowhere to go.
Right.
And there's this man who's like so much older than you, showing you all this attention, giving you somewhere to be. Because even whenever she got kicked out of their house, she didn't go back to her parents.
That's right.
She went to Paul and Marilyn's. Like, so she obviously felt like she wasn't protected anywhere and like nobody wanted her. And there's a lot that I'm like, even at 16 or 17 or 18, you should have... things should have rang for you, but I think that there's a willful ignorance that happens when you feel like you're being protected.
Yeah.
And so things got bad. Like, okay, so they move away, so does Paul and Marilyn. They move, they build houses somewhere else together. And so Joanne calls it the compound because it's like all of them together. And she's like, I couldn't get away.
Wow.
Chris became really possessive. Like, he never wanted her to wear makeup. He never wanted her to dress like an adult. Like, she bought a G-string and he was like upset about it. He didn't want her to, he wanted her to be like a kid.
Like,
you know.
Oh God.
And so she runs away in like 1990 to a women's shelter. She comes back to like where they were and she starts telling everybody like, I think that he did something to Lyn. I ran away because he started treating me the way that he treated Lyn at the end. So like at the end with Lyn, he would sing songs to Lyn that were like taunting songs that were like, I don't love you, like nursery rhymes, but he would change the words.
Jesus Christ.
And he started doing that to Joanne. And so Joanne was like, I'm getting the fuck out
How
of here.
creepy is that thought? Someone singing nursery songs to you where they
but about how much they hate you.
Yes. And he's a twin.
Horrifying.
Really scary.
So she goes to the cops and she's like, I think he did well, she first like starts talking to Lyn's family members and they don't want to talk to her, but she talks to the brother and sister-in-law and is like, here's the reasons why I think he did something to her. So they go back to the old house, which Chris did. Every time they went back to that area, Chris would go to the new owners and talk to them about like, oh, what changes are you making to the house? Have you been like, where are you digging? Like, what are you doing around the house?
Oh my God.
I don't like it. I know. Oh.
So they go back up there because the land around the house was really tough, but there was one spot that had like a lot of water runoff that was soft. And so they go back to like look at that spot. The new owners, because of the water runoff, they didn't want water damage to their house. They covered that entire area with concrete. So that whole area she's like, I think she's buried there. Like, I think that he buried Lyn in the soil outside of the windows.
Oh God.
And so she goes to the cops and they reopen this entire like inquest and look into it. Of course, like, so they open what's called like a coronial inquest, which I had not known. I don't know that they do this in the United States because the coroner ruled twice that the manner of death was homicide and that she was killed by a known person, most likely her husband, Chris Dawson. Twice.
Whoa. The coroner was like, I'm looking at this, and he motherfucking did it.
Right, and they had like, it was like a trial. It was kind of like a trial because she testified. Paul and Chris's brother, Peter, is a attorney, and he was allowed to like be their attorney. Like, he cross-examined Joanne on the witness stand and stuff like that, which seems like a conflict of interest to me. Right. But maybe it doesn't matter because it's not a real trial.
I guess not.
But so 2 coronial inquests that look into this say she was murdered by a known person. That person is Chris Dawson. But the Department of Prosecutions wouldn't press charges.
Right, because they don't have enough evidence.
They wouldn't. They said they didn't have enough evidence, but I'm just like...
Well, they don't. They don't have a body.
They don't have a body.
They don't even know if this person's dead based off of what he's saying.
Based on what he's saying, but... So
being sneaky and suspicious is not enough to rule
or
take somebody to court.
But also people
so
don't
people could
disappear,
still disappear though.
But they don't, because it's just like, how are you going to disappear? She doesn't drive. You have never used your social security number. You haven't been registered anywhere else. You haven't, like, no credit cards in your name. You didn't take any money with you. Like, how can you disappear and never come back up? But
I know it's
happened,
but it isn't.
But it's happened before.
Yeah.
Cases have gone to court on less than this before.
Yeah.
And all of the evidence that anything existed.
Well, look at Susan Powell. There's way more fucking evidence in that case for him to have easily gone to fucking jail than this guy.
But I don't know, dude. I don't know, because I'm just like, this. People don't just disappear.
I get it.
Like, I just don't.
And it's frustrating because
people
want more
don't
justice.
Just disappear, and like it doesn't happen. They didn't look into it at the time. They just took his word for it that like she'd been calling him, and they took his word for it that she had used her credit card. Like, he told them, like, no, she used her credit card.
That's easy to find out.
Not now, because the records are gone. It's too late.
Well, back then it could have been.
But they didn't.
Yeah,
so
they didn't because they were friends. They were friends with him, so they just didn't look into any of it.
Yeah.
He told Joanne like 2 days after she was gone that she wasn't coming back, when he's telling everyone else that she's just gone away for a little while and that she's sorting herself out and I want her to come back. You want her to come back, but you moved a 16-year-old into her house? Like, no, there's just no way. And so that's the result of the coronial inquest. But then the DPP was just like, we're not going to do anything.
Right.
We're not going to pursue it for all this time. And then this podcast came out. It reignited interest in this case.
Oh, no.
And
so the podcast
Chris Dawson was arrested in December of 2018.
Yes. Oh, no. Shit.
He was arrested in 2018.
Have they found the body?
They're taking him to trial. They have not found the body. They have done a few years ago, back in like the mid 90s, I think, they did do like ground penetrating radar where they found and they dug a little bit around the pool. But again, all of it without like sledgehammering all of the like
concrete.
Do it.
They dug around. They did find a pink cardigan that had slash marks in it that are consistent with stab marks.
Oh my!
But they weren't able to find DNA on it. But this was like the mid 90s. If they were to retest that, and also the ground penetrating radar.
I'm like, dig this fucking pool. I don't want a baby or like some adult under my pool. I don't want to.
No, I'm not going to have a poltergeist situation.
No,
dig it up.
Well, and that's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to like work with the current owners of the house because this is now like a $3 or $4 million property. And so they're trying to work with the owners of the house. People who listen to the podcast have like wealthy people have been like, let's get together, let's buy this house and then we'll let you guys do it.
Well,
but the cops don't want
I'll just buy you a new pool. Like, can we start a GoFundMe for a new pool for these people?
And for the outside of the windows where they like where the soil was soft.
Like, who wants a maybe dead body on their property?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
and if you have a $3-4 million house, I'm pretty sure you can swing getting that dead body out of the backyard.
Yeah. So
and solving a murder and bringing peace and justice to the fucking little girls that she had and to her mother and to her family.
Right. Well, her mother and her father are dead now. Lyn's parents are dead. They died not knowing what happened. And so it's he was arrested in December of 2018. He is currently out on bail, but the trial is currently underway about
oh
that.
my God,
so,
I cannot wait to listen to this podcast and be furious on the freeway.
What's upsetting is that like no one did anything, and like you can hear how regretful the people in her life are now, because it was the early 80s and you just kind of were like someone said it perfectly. There was another babysitter before Joanne who worked in that house, and she's the only one who says that she saw any like actual aggression between Chris and Lyn. Like she saw him like shove her or something and like hit her with like a dish towel or whatever. And she says it perfectly, where she says it's like there was this door and we all just said whatever happens behind that door is nobody's business about like their domestic problems and like the way that he treated her. Well, everyone was just kind of like, but this is
That's
man.
again a sign of the times.
Yeah, because I mean, imagine if that was happening in our group.
Oh God, fucking no way. There's no way. Oh, we would put a stop to that immediately.
Imagine.
Yeah,
I
can't
literally not.
I
imagine.
can't, but I'm like, I know, like.
There are no closed doors in this friend group.
Exactly.
No.
None. I'd kick it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, and there's so much more like to the story. Like there are full episodes devoted to like the like abuse of the children in these schools and things like that. And Chris Dawson's behavior. He went on to teach at an all-girls school.
I want to flip this table right now.
So there's so much there's so much to this story, but it is fascinating. If you have not listened to Teacher's Pet, go and do it.
My next deep dive. I
hear
it coming.
Me too.
I got to finish this one about Isaac Keys.
Oh yeah,
Israel Keys.
Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
our good friend Ike.
Yeah.
Isaac Keys. He's the brother. It's like Craig Christ or whatever.
Craig Christ. I want everyone to know. Like I wrote tons of notes on this. I didn't even look at them because like this story is that fucking like
wild.
That is wild.
It's just so upsetting, and I feel bad for his daughters because The oldest one, they were 4 and 2 when Lyn went missing. And the 4-year-old is the one that's obviously more open. She gets interviewed on the podcast. She won't talk about her dad. But like she gets interviewed on the podcast. She's obviously more open. The 2-year-old is just like solidly like, this is bullshit. This is a witch hunt. My dad didn't do anything.
Well,
and it's
easy
sad.
when that's all you know.
It's all you know. Like she was 2. She doesn't remember her mom.
The idea of something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway.
Yeah.
I just started listening to The Ballad of Billy Balls.
Oh
yeah?
Yeah.
What's that about?
It's Billy Balls. He's like a musician in the 70s in New York, like played CBGB a ton and then was like violently murdered.
Oh my God.
In the East Village. And his girlfriend at the time, actually is like common law wife because they were together for like 5 years, has been trying since then to solve his murder. And I can listen to this woman talk forever.
Yeah.
She just has that kind of
She has got a vibe. Her voice is phenomenal. It's so New York.
I love it.
But it's also it's like 70s New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly
Which is very
what you
different from now. I mean, she is like 70s New York to the core. Like hardcore used to be at CBGB's rocking out and in that scene in the 80s and the 70s and 80s, and it's really good so far. So that's one of my listening to.
I just love I love this, and I understand it can be problematic, and I understand why people in law enforcement might not be totally on board with this trend, but I think it's so important because this stuff happens so often where there are these like injustices that take place, and like without this podcast, I don't think this would be happening.
Nobody would even care.
You need to. It's so liberating that you can kind of like pull the attention yourself now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for like a media market to pay attention to you or want to pick up your story or want to put it on 60 Minutes. Like you can do it yourself, and you can be like, this shit happened. Like, you know.
Well, and doing the research and telling the story. I mean, we're all three doing like ancestry.com research. I mean, it's just so it's so easy and it's so hard right now to find information.
Don't I know?
You know, and I love the fact that people are. I love the rise of the armchair detectives because it is a really thankless and difficult job to be in law enforcement. Like, how many cases hit their desk every day? I mean,
and you simply cannot pay attention to every single one.
Cannot. It's so fucking hard. So,
but that's also so fucking shitty because for that one that you can't pay attention to, there's an entire family and group of people who need you to pay attention to that.
Exactly, which is why it's really cool for, you know, people, if you can, you know, call attention to these cases and help in any way. I love the Jensen and Holes podcast.
Yeah, same.
You know, and
I want them to do one on Israel Keys because honestly, I really think.
Oh, he's got more victims for sure.
Oh, he 100%. You have all these kits all over the country, all over. Yeah.
Oh wow,
dude, it's wild. It's fucking wild. But listening to him talk about it is yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have so have you guys watched Wine Country yet?
Not yet.
No.
Not
Is
yet.
it so
my
good?
God, Kristen, I watched it last night.
I already can
So
feel
funny.
that it's like something that's so funny but also so heartwarming, like thinking about like I just love female friendship movies.
Me too.
So cute. It's
I
so
love
cute.
them.
And we were literally just rolling.
Did you go see it in theaters?
No, it's on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie.
Jesus, everything. I did not know that the Ted Bundy movie was on Netflix either. And then I was
Oh.
like, I thought these were movies that were going to come out in the theater.
Yeah.
Did
Okay,
you watch
cool.
the Ted Bundy movie yet?
No.
Okay.
Me
Then
either.
we'll wait to talk
Have
about
you?
it. Yep.
All right.
I mean, I have thoughts, but
Okay.
it's. I feel like I'm very moderate on this topic because I'm.
You're middle of the road
I am
again?
I'm very middle of the road.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I don't want.
I'm withholding judgment till I watch it. Yeah.
And I don't want to place my judgment on any of your thoughts.
Sure.
Because I think that
You know me. You know which side I'm probably going to
I know which
on.
side you're probably going to be on. I think this is very us in this way. I am definitely reasonable doubt. Like, give everybody, like, take a look at both sides. I can see why people are angry by the movie, but I can also see why it's an important version of the story to understand, like, how people close to. And I also think that it's important for people to see how she felt, because this is a thing I brought up with you earlier, which wasn't on air, but you never know who, just because they have they're good looking, or they have a good personality, because they seem and they feel, it's part of their job to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel okay about them. You need to see that.
Yeah.
Well,
you need to see
and
that.
here's the thing, good looking people know they're good looking too. And we live in a world of
charisma.
And we also live in a world of like, because I'm thinking of the same thing with like Paul and Chris Dawson. They were good looking guys. It's like, we also live in a world where pretty privilege does exist. 100%. Like being good looking, you absolutely know that there are certain things that you can get away with that like you wouldn't be able to get away with if you weren't that way.
Yeah.
And I think that it increases your amount of charisma and confidence to be able to be like,
I can get away with this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're
like
gonna,
it's confidence. It comes off, you know, but I do think that's important, because we give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, I mean, he's such a nice guy. The people who, you know, I'll save this for off the air.
Okay, cool. All right. We'll talk about it whenever we've seen it all together.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if you have stories, and remember, we want some like dating as a single parent stories, or any stories,
more
roommate
stories.
Roommate stories. Oh my God,
are the best.
Please, bad roommates.
Please email us at myworstdatepodcast@gmail.com, or just go to our website. It's a one-stop shop where you can become a Patreon member. You can listen to us. You can connect with all of our social medias. That is myworstdatepodcast.com. And thank you so much for listening, for rating and reviewing, and for writing us. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.